Welcome to Básico Inglés 4.0, the radio show with Kyle Miller. Following class by class, step by step, the material of Básico Inglés 4.0 on Aprende Inglés TV. Class number 178. Let's go! Beginner. All right, friends, welcome to class number 178. If you were paying attention, you will remember yesterday we were talking about the verb to read. Leer, to read. Every day I read. Yesterday I read. Read. The pronunciation in the past is just like the color red. Okay? To read. Now, we have, let's practice with some questions. Did you read the newspaper last week? Yes, I read the newspaper last week. Ask me if I read the newspaper last week. Kyle, did you read the newspaper last week? Yes, I did. Yes, I read the newspaper last week. Do you read on the bus? Yes, I read on the bus. Ask me if I read on the bus. Ask me. Kyle, do you read on the bus? Yes, I do. Ask me if I read novels on the bus. Kyle, do you read novels on the bus? No, I don't. On the bus. No, I don't read novels on the bus. I read novels at home, but ask me what I read on the bus. Kyle, what do you read on the bus? Oh, I read newspapers on the bus. Often the free newspapers you can find in the morning. Yeah. Ask me if I read any books last year. Kyle, did you read any books last year? Yes. Yes, I read some books last year. Yes, I did. Did your mother read any books last year? Yes, my mother read some books last year. Now, there's an exercise here recommended in your student guide, which I think is a very good exercise. Simply practicing, gaining agility with the pronunciation, so you can say, every day I read, yesterday I read. Every day I read a book. Yesterday I read a book. Let's say, every week I read a novel. Last week I read a novel. Every month I read a book. Last month I read a book. And let's change to 2. Every day I read the newspaper. Yesterday I read 2 newspapers. Every day I read 10 emails. Yesterday I read 10 emails. Every week I read 3 reports. Every week I read 3 reports. Last week I read 3 reports. Every day I read the instructions. And yesterday I read the instructions. Yes, it's important to read the instructions. For example, if you are assembling, if you are montando, putting something together, montar, to put together, to assemble. Something from IKEA, for example. It's good to read the instructions so that you understand the process. It's very important, yes. Okay, now we can move on and practice with the other structure we saw yesterday. Do you know where Toronto is? Yes, I know where Toronto is. Do you know where Dallas is? Yes, I know where Dallas is. It's in Texas. Do you know where Fitz lives? And you can say, no, I don't know where Fitz lives. Do you know where my brother works? Do you know where my brother works? Yes, I know where your brother works. If you were listening yesterday, then you know where my brother works because I told you he works in Holland. Yes. Do you know where Digby is? You should say, yes, Kyle, I know where Digby is because yesterday you told us that Digby is in Eastern Canada. It's not in Western Canada. It's in Eastern Canada, which means in the east of Canada. That's right. Do you know where Saskatoon is? No, Kyle, I don't know where Saskatoon is. Okay. Do you know where Winnipeg is? No, I don't know where Winnipeg is. Well, ask me where Winnipeg is. Kyle, where is Winnipeg? Winnipeg is in central western, a little bit west of center in Canada. I call it Western Canada, but really it's quite close to the center of Canada. 2/3, I would say, 2/3 across the country. Do you know where Prince Edward Island is in Canada? No, Kyle, I don't know where Prince Edward Island is. Prince Edward Island is in Eastern Canada. It's on the east coast, near my province, which is Nova Scotia. So do you know where? We'll practice this again in just a moment, where you will be asking me the questions. But now, let's move on to take a look at our word of the day. Word of the day. All right, our word of the day today is tejado, which is roof. Roof, R-O-O-F, the roof of a building. Roof, yes. I've never been on the roof of my building, the building I live at. But in Canada, I've been on the roof of my house in Canada, my parents' house. The roof, el tejado. Then we also have ceiling, which is el techo, the ceiling. So now if I look up in the studio, I can see the ceiling, but I can't see the roof. I'm looking out a little window, but I can't see any buildings. I can't see outside, so I can't see the roof. But I can see the ceiling of the studio. The ceiling is covered in a soundproof, right? A soundproof material. But then another part is painted. The ceiling is yellow. The ceiling is yellowish orange. A little bit yellow, a little bit orange. Yes, the ceiling. So the ceiling is el techo, and el tejado is the roof. The roof. Okay. Now, as we move on into class number 178, we have, just like I told you, a very similar exercise as before, but now you will ask me the questions. Ask me if I know where Tokyo is. Kyle, do you know where Tokyo is? Yes, I do. Yes, I know where Tokyo is. It's in Japan. Ask me if I know where Alicante is. Kyle, do you know where Alicante is? Yes, I know where Alicante is. Ask me if I know where San Sebastian is. Kyle, do you know where San Sebastian is? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Now, ask me where it is. Ask me directly. Kyle, where is San Sebastian? Okay, so the indirect question, notice the word order. Do you know where San Sebastian is? Yes, I do. Where is San Sebastian? Oh, it's in the north of Spain. Yes, near France. Ask me if I know where Trujillo is. Kyle, do you know where Trujillo is? Yes, I do. Now ask me directly. Kyle, where is Trujillo? Trujillo is in Extremadura. Ask me if I know where San Pedro de Manrique is. Kyle, do you know where San Pedro de Manrique is? Yes, I do. Ask me where it is. Kyle, where is San Pedro de Manrique? San Pedro de Manrique is in Soria. Ask me if I know where Don Benito is. Kyle, do you know where Don Benito is? Yes, I do. Ask me where it is directly. Kyle, where is Don Benito? It's in Badajoz. Ask me if I know where Leamington, Canada. Ooh, again with Canada. Ask me if I know where Leamington, Canada is. Kyle, where is Leamington? Leamington, Canada. Oh, yes, it's in the province of Ontario. About maybe an hour and a half by car from Toronto. Ask me if I know where your mother lives. Kyle, do you know where my mother lives? No, I don't know where your mother lives. I don't know. I expect she lives in Spain, but I don't know. Ask me if I know where my brother lives. Kyle, do you know where your brother lives? Of course I do. He's my brother. Of course I know where he lives. He lives in, and you know too, he lives in Holland. I told you earlier in the class. Yes, he lives in Holland. So, do you know where? Do you know where? Do you know, ask me if I know where Las Fallas is. Kyle, do you know where Las Fallas is? Yes, it's in Valencia. Well, it's not a place, but it's an event where it takes place. Tomar lugar, to take place. Do you know where Las Fallas takes place, Kyle? Yes, I do. I know where it takes place. It takes place in Valencia. Yes, it does. It sure does. All right, let's move on now and take a look at our vocabulary of the day. Vocabulary of the day. All right, it is time for the vocabulary of the day. That's right, our 5 words of vocabulary. Today, our first word is sello, sello, which is stamp, stamp. So with a stamp, you stick a stamp onto, for example, an envelope, sobre, an envelope, to mail the envelope. You have to have a stamp. You have to have a postage stamp. You have to have adequate postage paid for in order for the letter to be sent properly. Yes. So stamp, sello. Piscina. This is swimming pool. Swimming pool. I have a swimming pool near my house here in Madrid. Not very, very close, but near. It's close enough. Swimming pool, piscina. Ir de compras. To go shopping. This evening, after this radio show, I have to go shopping. I have to buy some things. I have to go shopping. Darse prisa. Darse prisa. To be in a hurry. To be in a hurry. Hurry, hurry, we say. Not hurry, but H-U-R-R-Y, but we say hurry. To be in a hurry. Yes. I'm not in a hurry right now. But maybe when I go shopping today, I'll be in a hurry to finish it. Yes. Enviar. Enviar, to send. To send. I sent about 10 emails this morning. Yes. To send an email, to send a letter. If you want to send a letter, you will need a stamp. That's right. So sello is a stamp. Piscina, swimming pool. Ir de compras, to go shopping. Every week I go shopping. I'll say, last week I went shopping. Darse prisa, to hurry. And enviar, to send. All right. Now, the last portion of today's class, we have to be about. What is it about? To be, what is something about? when you say in Spanish, ¿de qué va esa película? We say, what's that movie about? We use the verb to be about. What's that movie about? What's that book about? What's the story about? What was the play about? What was his speech about? Okay, so ask me what my book is about. Kyle, what is your book about? My book is about the economy. Ask me what my neighbor's book is about. Kyle, what is your neighbor's book about? His book is about sports. Yeah. Ask me what the last book I read was about. Kyle, what was the last book you read about? What was it about? It was about the future and a man's predictions. Well, actually, I'm still reading it, but it's about a person's predictions about the future and the economy and politics in the next 100 years. It's an interesting book. Ask me what the movie Star Wars is about. Well, the series, I should say. Kyle, what is Star Wars about? Well, it's about a series of battles in space between good and evil. And the evil people are greedy, as usual. But as battles between good and evil in space, let's say. It's tough to summarize Star Wars, but I guess we could say that's what it's about. Ask me what Richard Vaughn's book is about. Kyle, what is Richard Vaughn's book about? Richard Vaughn's book, Si quieres puedes, is about learning English. The book itself doesn't teach you English, but it tells you how to learn. It's about learning English and the process of learning English, and it's a collection of his experiences as a teacher and his profound knowledge in the area of teaching and learning languages. Ask me what the last movie I saw was about. Ask me what the last movie I saw was about. Kyle, what was the last movie you saw about? The word about at the end. Kyle, what was that movie about? Oh, it was about a man who travels a lot. It was about a man who travels a lot and never spends time at home, and he's sort of thinking about his life. He has a difficult job, and he's always on the road. It was called Up in the Air with George Clooney. Interesting movie. He travels a lot, and I think at the end he sort of realizes that he's missing out on a lot of things in life, I think. Well, anyway, that's what it was about. So to be about, what is the book about? What is the movie about? Now, our next class will be about some of the things that we saw today, because we will do a review, as always, and get into some new material. I'm completely out of time, but I hope you'll join me tomorrow. Same time, same place. See you then. Bye-bye.